Alright, let's see where we are. We're still dealing with zeros of polynomial functions. I want you guys to look at problem number 2. The very first thing that I would like you to do is I would like you to highlight this 3 and label it as the letter P. And then we're going to highlight this leading coefficient of 2, and we're going to label that guy Q. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to list all the factors of P over all the factors of Q. We're going to find this. Now, I realize this is a very, very difficult problem here, because the factors of 3, there's just so many. 1 and 3. And there's so many factors 2. 1, 2. Now, I want you guys to understand, this method is very helpful. You don't have to use a calculator, all right? Everybody knows how to do synthetic division, all right? But how do you know which factors that you are allowed to test and which factors should you not test? Okay? So what I want you to do is we're going to take these factors right here, all right? And I want you to understand all of our answers can be a plus or a minus. So right now we're going to list all the possible rational zeros. We're going to list all the possible rational zeros. What you do is you take this number. You take this number and you divide it by this number. So you could say one of the possible rational zeros is a plus or a minus 1. Then you take the 1 over the 2 and you could say another possible rational zero would be plus or minus a half. So basically it's 1 over 1, or it could be 1 over a 2. When you're done with this number, then you move to the next number and you say 3 over 1. So you can say plus or minus a 3 over 1. And you can also lastly say plus or minus 3 over a 2. Now I'm not listing them in order. I'm just doing a sequence of events. So let's go over the sequence. What I did was I looked at the number 1, and I did 1 over 1 and 1 over 2. That's how I got the 1 and the half. Then I looked over here at the 3, and I did 3 over 1 and 3 over 2. That's how I got the plus or minus 3 and plus or minus 3 over 2. Now these are all the possible answers. They're not the actual answers. So this is one of your answers for number 2. These are all the possible. Now what we're going to do is we're going to find the actual rational zeros. And I'm not going to make you guys do synthetic division. We've been practicing that, so you've had practice, okay? But right now, if you were to test, what would you test with? You would only test with a plus or a minus 1, a plus or minus half, and so on and so forth. Okay? So we're going to do the actual. So go to your graphing calculator, hit y equals. We're going to type in our function, which is 2x to the third. 2x to the third. Now just knowing that it's 2x to the third, how many real zeros could we have? We could have up to 3. If it's 2x cubed, we could have up to 3. Minus 3x squared. Minus 2x plus 3. Now make sure your grid lines are turned on. So if they aren't, hit second zoom and you can turn your grid lines on. And then I'm going to hit zoom, and I'm actually going to do a standard. Zoom standard. Okay. Now this right here lets me know I can clearly see one of the zeros. What's one of the zeros going to be? Negative 1. I can clearly see that. Now, if I hit zoom standard, I can't really see the other ones clearly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit zoom, and then I hit 4. Okay. Now, this one right here is clearly at a negative 1. This one right here is clearly at a positive 1. This one right here, what's the only one that would make sense if we look back at our possible real zeros? A half or 3 over 2? 3 over 2. Can everybody see? Yeah. This is at a 1.5. Now, how can I be certain that that's at a 1.5? Because what did we do first? We listed all of the possible zeros, and 1.5 is 3 over 2. All right? Now, you could check it in the calculator if you wanted to. All right? You could hit second, trace, and you could calculate number 2, which is a 0. All I'd have to do is make sure I'm on the left side. So I'm going to go down here. Okay, so right now, technically I'm on the left side of this 0, so I'm going to press enter. And I'm going to go to the right side of the 0. So now that I'm on the right side of the 0, I'm going to press enter. And when I press enter one more time, the calculator lets me know that we are indeed at a 1.5. Okay? So what does that mean for our actual answers? All right? The actual rational zeros, we're at a negative 1, a positive 1, and 3 over 2. Those are your actual rational zeros. So remember, you're going to have two answers for these. You're going to have all the possible rational zeros and the actual rational zeros. Now, if we use synthetic division, every single time we use one of these numbers, what would our remainder be using the factor theorem? All these remainders for these answers would be 0 if you use synthetic division. All right. Number 3. It's a little bit easier. It's a little bit tricky. It's easy because what is our p-value? 1. It's tricky because what's our q-value? So right now, I'm not going to list all the possible factors. I'm just going to list them. Okay? So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put p over q. When I write the letter p, I want you to think all of the factors of p. If I write the letter q, I want you to think all of the possible factors of q. So p is easy. The only factor of p is 1. The factors of 36, we have a 1 and a 36. Got it.
4 and 9.
4 and 9. And there's one more. I left the slot open for this one. Don't leave it out. 3 and 12. We don't want the field open. I would like the field left out. Just kidding. All right, here we go. We got a 1. We got a 2. We got a 3, 4, 6, 9, a 12, and 18, and a 36. That's a lot of factors right there. Okay? So this time, I'm going to let you guys do something a little bit easier. Remember the last one we did? I made you guys do plus or minus, plus or minus, plus or minus, plus or minus. This one, I'm going to make it a little bit easier for us, okay? I want you guys to write plus or minus on the outside of the set, okay? And we're just going to go in order. Now, this is not going to be in numerical order. It's just going to be in the order of the pattern, okay? 1 over a 1 is 1. 1 over 2 is a half. Then the next one could be a third. So I'm not making you put these from least to greatest, okay? I just want you to see the pattern of how to come up with the answers. These are all of the possible, these are all of our possible rational zeros, okay? So I just want you to, right now on your paper, just write possible, and those are the possible answers. Make sure that you put plus or minus out in front of the set so you don't have to do every single one. Okay? Now, Listen, some teachers will make you do plus or minus over every single one, and if you're asked to do that, just do it. Don't complain. All right, just do it. But right now, I'm going to accept that. Now we have to find our what? Our actual real zeros. So this is where I want you to use the graphing calculator. Okay? So type this in the graphing calculator and take a look at it. Then y equals 36x to the 4th, is that right? And we have, is it minus 13x squared? And then what's the last number? Plus 1? Okay. So once you got it typed in, hit graph. Ooh. Even though we've zoomed it in, it's still kind of hard to see. So what I want you guys to do, once you guys see this picture, I want you to hit zoom. And I want to make sure you know how to use the zoom box, because this is kind of helpful. All right? So choose number 1 and press enter. You're going to see a little cursor blinking. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to move that cursor to the left. Now, it's going to be easier for you guys. You're not going to get as much lag. Now, that's far enough for me, so I'm going to go up. You don't have to go too far up. That should be enough. All right, it's above the x-axis. You want to go slightly to the left and up. Once you've done that, I want you to press enter. When you press enter, you'll notice that your cursor's changed a little bit. Now I want you to stretch it out to the right. This is where I'm going to get a little lag. All right, stretch it out. Right now, I realize it does not look like a box because right now I'm building the length of the box, okay? So right now I'm building the length of the box. Now I'm going to build the width of the box. I'm going to go down. We're going to just zoom in. Why am I zooming in just to this portion of the graph? Because this is where all of my zeros are located. So once you have this little rectangular box, press enter. Now we can easily see, not necessarily where they are, but we can look at them. Now, what I want you guys to realize is that whenever this 0 is right here, this is the same number, it's just going to be the negative version of it. Okay? And whatever I get for this 0 right here, that will be the negative version. They're kind of, it's like a perfect reflection. Does everybody see how this is the same? Like this is the same distance from the y-axis. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to hit second trace number 2. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to find these two zeros. Okay? So we're going to go over to the right. See where it's going. We'll start seeing it here soon. Go down. Go over to the right, get closer. Start seeing the cursor. Right. Oh, there it is. Okay, so once you have the cursor right over here, it's on the left side, press enter. You see this vertical line drawn. Go to the right of the right bound, go to the right of the 0, press enter. Press enter one more time. And what is one of our zeros right there? One of our zeros is at 0.3 repeating, and we all know that 0.3 repeating is 1/3. So if that's 1/3, what does this one have to be? Negative 1/3. Okay? So that's 1. So we have a plus or a minus a third. That's one of our actual real zeros. And we're going to hit second trace. We're going to calculate the 0 again. This time we're going to go to the left side of the other. Technically right here I could press enter and that'd be fine. This is on the left boundary. So right here, just press enter, establish a left boundary, go over here. Technically I'm right now on the right side of that 0, press enter. So our 0 is going to be between these two vertical lines. And it says I'm at a 0.5. So I'm at a half. Which means this one has to be a negative half. So what are our 4 answers? Our 4 answers are plus or minus a third and plus or minus a half. want you guys to do for number 3, or your actual, remember we've already listed all the possible, for your actual real zeros, you can list a negative 1/3, a negative 1/2, a positive 1/3, and a positive 1/2. That's one way to do it. Or you could do plus or minus, and you can say plus or minus a third and a half. Either way, if you do it this way, what do I want to make sure I see out in front? I want to see the plus or minus out in front. Okay, so these are your actual answers. Right? So your two answers involve what? All the possible rational zeros, and then use your calculator and find the actual real zeros. Since we've been practicing a lot of synthetic division, I'm not going to have you do all of this. Right now, I want you guys to go get the rest of those that say solve, get those done.